Welcome everyone to the weekly Fabrengen. It's Erev, Shabbis, Chukas. The Shabbis between Gimel and Yud Beis, Yud Gimel, Tammuz. You know, this Shabbis by Chassidim used to be called Shabbis Kostrama, because this was the one Shabbis that the Frierdiker Rebbe spent in Kostrama in his exile. Interestingly enough, the Russians, they wanted to put him there for 3 years in exile, but he ended up spending 1 week, and this was the one Shabbos, the Shabbos between Gimel and Yud Beis Tammuz. The Frierdiker Rebbe tells about this Shabbos that he went to the shul. There was only one shul in town. It wasn't a Chassidish shul. It was a regular shul. And davening Shabbos morning was, I imagine, at 8 o'clock or 8:30, whatever it is. And the Frierdiker Rebbe went to shul, and he davened there the entire Shabbos. It's a summer Shabbos. Frierdiker Rebbe was davening for hours, to the extent the townspeople came to see. They've never seen such a thing before, of a Jew standing the entire Shabbos and davening. And to the extent that even Lahavdil, the Galach of the town, he came, he wanted to see such a sight of a person standing an entire day and pouring his soul out to his Creator. The truth is, it's very much connected, this idea, with the whole idea of the Shabbos Parshas Chukas and with Gimel and Yud Beis Tammuz. I'll start a story. This story, my friend Mendy Paltiel, Rabbi Mendy Paltiel, writes this story. He was a little kid. I don't remember if he was 10 years old, 11 years old. He was going on the school bus on Kingston and Eastern Parkway. The school bus was going to school. And he sees his friend is on Kingston. He's trying to get his friend's attention. So he's waving out the window to get his friend's attention. And he's not managing to get his friend's attention. He's screaming, he's waving, and he's not getting his friend's attention. And he's going on like that for whatever, a few minutes. And afterwards, right after he's finished waving, an older bacher comes onto the bus and he says, Mendy, you don't even realize what just happened. He says, what are you talking about? He says, you were waving, you were so involved trying to see if you're getting your friend's attention, you didn't realize the Rebbe was driving by. And as you waved, every time you waved, the Rebbe waved back at you. And the whole time as you were waving, the Rebbe was waving back at you. And the truth is, this concept is where we all are today. Gimel Tammuz this year is 30 years since we're able to see the Rebbe physically in this world. And at the same time, we have that lesson that we remember, because the Rebbe tells us every Gimel Tammuz is connected to one another. It's not just that it happened to be that there was a Gimel Tammuz in 1927 in Tafresh Pei Zayin, where the Frierdiker Rebbe was let out of jail. And there was another Gimel Tammuz years later where something else happened, and a Gimel Tammuz where Yeshua stopped the sun. The Rebbe says it's all the same point. The same point of Yeshua stopping the sun, which means the leader of the Jewish people, is above all the limitations of nature. And when it comes that the Jewish people need to conquer Eretz Yisrael, to change and transform it from Eretz Canaan to Eretz Yisrael, Ad Yikoim Goy Oivav, until the nation avenges themselves upon their enemies. So Hashem stops the whole nature of the world, the sun, the moon, everything stops. Everything changes. Why? Because the Jewish leader who's connected to Hashem is the one who his mission is to show us that truth. To show us that truth that we are not bound by nature, we're above and beyond nature. And it's the same idea in the Frierdiker Rebbe's time. The idea of Gimel Tammuz and Yud Beis Tammuz is that nothing stands in the way. One person stands up against the most powerful government of the world. They all have set it as their mission to eradicate Judaism, to eradicate religion, to eradicate calling out in the name of Hashem. And yet one person stands out and spreads in the entire world, spreads that reality, that truth, to an extent that the whole world is taken over by it, to an extent that they feel they have to conquer him. And the laws of nature are overpowered, and not only is he let out of their clutches, and not only is he freed from the death sentence upon him, but also from any other sentence, including exile. And yet, there's something most profound about this idea of Gimel Tammuz, and the Rebbe brings it out both with regards to Yeshua stopping the sun and with regards to the Frierdiker Rebbe. The main point of it, by the Frierdiker Rebbe coming out, what was Gimel Tammuz? Yud Beis Tammuz is the day we celebrate. Because that's when the world saw he was free. That's when he was able to continue spreading Yiddishkeit. Until then he was still in their hands, he was still in exile. Gimel Tammuz, how could you celebrate? It's only a Schalta de Gula. The world sees darkness still. The world sees concealment still. On the contrary, Gimel Tammuz is a day when for Chassidim, the way they saw it was that he's now going into exile. It's the opposite. Exile is worse than death. And yet, what was really happening? But how can you celebrate what was really happening? The world doesn't see what was really happening. And the Rebbe says Chassidim have to celebrate Gimel Tammuz because Chassidim are one with the Rebbe. Chassidim, the job, the mission is not just that the Rebbe reveals to us that godliness is truth, but that we take it to the extent that we also reveal in a world of darkness, in a world of concealment, in a world that doesn't see it, we reveal that truth that Hashem is true, that Hashem is real. And not only that, but nothing stands in the way. And that's the same idea of what Gimel Tammuz in our time and in our world. The Rebbe is waving at us, and we're waving and saying, I'm waving. I'm so involved with what I'm trying to do that I'm not realizing that the whole time and the entire time the Rebbe is waving at me as well. There's a story the Rebbe told a woman who was suffering from a lot of hardship. And the Rebbe said, when you have a tough time and you're not sure what to do, or you have questions and you're not sure how to deal with them, or doubts and you're not sure how to deal with them, take a picture of the Rebbe. The Rebbe said that of my father-in-law, the Rebbe. Take a picture of the Rebbe and look at him. And realize that being that he is a true Jewish shepherd, when you look at him, he is looking at you at the same time. A most amazing, unbelievable thing. Something which brings out what we have and what we can do. And back in Russia, when Chassidim were there, they couldn't see the Rebbe. A picture of the Rebbe was something which was almost impossible to get and to obtain. And when one time someone brought a picture of the Rebbe, they all went to the mikveh. And they had the picture and they walked around the table to be able to look at the picture. They were in Yechidus. And that's the truth. When we can look at a picture or a video of the Rebbe, we can sit down and write a letter to the Rebbe, we're in Yechidus. But that's something which we can bring out in our lives, bring the light of Mashiach into the world, because that's the way to reveal it. Bring that reality and that truth into a world of darkness. I had a bacher a couple of years ago. Quite a few years ago. Today he's Baruch Hashem, a man with children. And he says to me, yeah, I write to the Rebbe, I never get answers. And I told him, let's try and do it properly. Realize perhaps the reason you're not getting an answer is because you're not able to see like that story. You're too busy looking at something else. You're looking at to see if you're getting your friend's attention. You're not recognizing. Let's do it properly. Let's prepare the way we should to realize that everything in the world is the Eibishter and that the Rebbe is here to reveal to us that truth. Prepare by saying Krishma Shalamita the night before. Wake up in the morning and go to the mikveh and say some extra tillim, but properly and concentrate properly and write it. So he did that. And he wrote a letter to the Rebbe, and he didn't tell me what he wrote in the letter, but later he told me, wow, the answer is exactly what I asked for. What was his question? He wrote that I have trouble remembering the things that I learned. And the Rebbe wrote back, in answer to what you're writing to me, you have trouble to remember the things that you learned. The Rebbe says, you should check your tefillin. In tefillin it says, L'zikarin beinecha. And the Rebbe says, check your tefillin, and that way that's going to help you with it. And he says, number one is the most amazing thing. He was already a 17, 18-year-old bacher. and he'd never checked his tefillin since his bar mitzvah, which is something which is in general something important to remember. According to halacha, one has to check their tefillin twice. According to halacha, twice in 7 years. The Rebbe adds it, which is brought down in Mati Ephraim, every Elul, but in general, once every 12 months, that's Mivtza Tefillin, when we should check our Tefillin. Anyway, he checked his Tefillin, and sure enough, there was a problem from all the way back in the beginning. A problem, there was something wrong with the word, which was able to be fixed. But that idea is what we read in Parshas Chukas. Zois Chukas, Atayra Chukas, from the word engraved. Engraved means it's not something separate from us, our connection with Hashem, and specifically our connection which comes as a result that the Rebbe reveals that connection is an essential connection, one which is completely one, where it's not two separate things that are connected with one another. And because it's not two separate things, therefore, when the Rebbe sees Elokus in the world and tells us he sees Mashiach, and he tells us open up your eyes to see it, so this way there won't be any more concealment and darkness. So our job is, even in a world of concealment and darkness, even in a world where it looks like it's a schalta de gula and it's not yet complete gula, our mission and our job is reveal it, feel it, live it. And with that we'll get, just like it says in the Pasuk, and the Rebbe says an amazing thing. It says that Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Ki biyadcha nasati yosei oig melech habashan, I gave him in your hands. And that's why when Rashi says, Vayaku oisoi ve'ezbanav, so Rashi says, no, oisoi, oig was killed by Moshe himself. The continuation of oig, the children of Oig, the nation of Oig, those who were fighting with him, they were killed by the Jewish people, and that's why it says it in plural. But the question is, why does it say also about Oig in plural? And so the Rebbe explains a very amazing thing. Hashem gave the power and the strength to Moshe Rabbeinu, to the leader of the generation, to destroy Oig, but it's with that power that every Jew is part of Moshe Rabbeinu. We're not two separate things. When we know that Hashem promised the Rebbe, and Hashem gave the power to the Rebbe to bring and to manage and to reveal the coming of Mashiach, that means every one of us has that power to feel the Rebbe's wave, to feel that the Rebbe is looking at us, and to feel that the Rebbe is giving us that strength and that power at every moment, whether when we look at a picture of the Rebbe, whether when we remember a picture of the Rebbe, that we know that we have that power and we have that strength to overcome all obstacles, all of our own obstacles that are within us and all obstacles in the world around us. And the most important thing is we'll transform the darkness today in the world. We'll transform it to light, that in the entire world, the whole world will see the truth, that every Jew is Hashem's beloved only son, and that all those who stand up against the Jewish people, Utsu Eitza V'Sufar Dabru Davar V'Lo Yakum Ki Imanu Kel, there's nothing that can stand in the way of Hashem, and there's nothing that can stand in the way of His beloved nation. And therefore, in the whole world, La Yanum V'Lo Yishan Shemer Yisrael, the Eibishter reveals and shows His protection over every single Jew, wherever they are, and especially in Eretz HaKodesh, in Eretz Ashereini Havaya Lekecha Ba Mereishis Hashana Vad Achris Shana. And the main thing is the Eibishter shows and reveals His love with Ketzam Lacheshech. He places an end to the darkness and transforms the darkness into the greatest light, the light of Mashiach, and gives every Jew everything, begashmius uveruchnius beteva nireva nigla, and especially that we all meet together before Shabbis Parshas Chukas in Yerushalayim Irakedesh, in the Beis Hamikdash Ashlishi, where we can once again see the Rebbe physically and verbreng with the Rebbe in a physical manner, and in a way that he leads us all together to Gula Mitzvah Shleima. Good Shabbos.